Hello everyone. As the title suggested, today we're making a roller for your standard tumbler. We're going to be using this larger one as our template. We're going to make one that can use the slimmer ones though as well. Any size tumbler. So that you can make custom resin coated tumblers. The motor I'm going to use is a rotisserie motor. I think these are rotisserie motors at least. I got them cleaning out storage units. I'm pretty sure, if I can remember correctly. They've got little, you can see those little peg hole, I guess we can call it. That's where we're going to stick the rod out of, and then put probably a pool noodle or something on the end that you can just slide this cup onto. And then it'll just slowly turn it for us. And we can coat it and let it dry. That'll make sure everything's, there's no drips and stuff like that when you're making custom stuff. So let's get to it. I have decided I'm going to make it 14 inches long. And that way I have, no matter what size cup I use, I'll know I have enough plate essentially on the bottom piece of wood to catch any drips. So whatever surface I'm doing this on, this will catch all the drips. It's getting dedicated to this anyway, so who cares if it gets drips of resin all over it, or paint, or whatever you're doing to the tumbler that you don't want dripping on your table. Then I'm going to make it 8 inches high, because that gives us just enough to work with, and the motor can mount right up to that like that. 8 inches is plenty of wood. So overall we need 22 inches. And this scrap piece of wood I found is more than that. So we'll just cut that down, cut it again at 14. We'll be good to go. I'm using this piece of wood I found I had left over from some other projects. That is 7 and, let's see here, 1/4 wide. Seems like it's going to be just wide enough to be able to catch anything. Have a little extra for whatever size tumbler or object I'm rolling on this thing. Maybe asking why I'm doing this inside the garage, and it's because it's cold out, so I'll just clean it up and blow this out later. Cool. So there's the first piece, our base. Take this motor, hope you can still see what I'm doing here. And the motor is going to mount on the other side of this, come through here, boom, got yourself a tumbler roller. So I'm going to take these out, and I think I can then mount this through the piece of wood. So get longer screws go through this piece of wood instead of using this bracket on the back. Just because this is the kind of motor I have. So I'm going to use a unique design if possible. So that plate came off. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 little holes. We'll find a drill bit that size or a little bigger. And we'll drill a hole and then plug this through it, screw through this board, bing, 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 bing. We're set. So let me make sure, what I'll do is I'll take these screws with me to the store, and I'll get me a little bit longer ones. And let's see drill bit wise. That will do it right there. I've marked how these fit together best right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run a nice bead of glue when I put these together. Then I'm going to screw down through here and we'll pre-drill all these so we don't crack this. And that should hold it. That way we don't have to put a brace in here. I'll probably get 2 little metal braces actually and put those there. Little brackets, that'll help too. Back from the store. Hope I got everything I need. I got a couple different kinds of brackets. Some wood screws for those. We'll pre-drill all those so that we don't crack this wood because it's very delicate. We got some more brackets. Might not have to use those ones. Those are backups. We got these other screws that are longer versions. Same thing. They were number 7, so they're really a pain in the butt to find the right size. And they might just work right. So this is going to be screwed through the piece of wood. Got wood glue ready here. I'm going to put that right here between the seam. Also have this, which is just stock metal. They did not have the right square size for this right here. But they did have round, which was slightly bigger. So what I'm going to do is either put it in the vise or hit it with a mallet and get that to slide right in there correctly. After beating the crap out of this with a hammer, we got it square. So it looked like this before. Now it looks like that. And it fits in there snugly. This would actually be pretty entertaining. Let's see if this rolls it. Yep. Seems to be working good. Now, we'll cut this down in a minute. Now that we know that fits, we're going to get this mounted to this board first. Actually, we're going to get these 2 put together first, because then that'll give us, make it easier to work with. I'm thinking that's how we're going to do it. With some brackets, probably just 3. I'm going to pre-drill these just with a little bit. That way we don't have any issues with it cracking because it is pretty close to the edge. I'm just going to mark each one of these. And I can drill down into them a little bit. I'm going to go too deep because these aren't that long of screws to hold these in. These are just little 1/2-inch number 8 screws. We don't want to tighten them all the way yet. Just want to get them started. Still got to glue this and line it up. This brackets though will hold this in place while we can put the screws to the back of this. Alright. It can move a little bit still. Hopefully I can get the other screws in there still. Alright. Now we're going to want to apply a nice layer of glue. Got that. Now we're going to do a couple little pre-drills on that side. Doesn't matter if it moves around a little bit, the glue's in there. Not that big a deal. Make sure it's all lined up nice and good on the edges. Okay. get that last one in. Notice how I'm drilling those at an angle a little bit. It's because these screws are so close to each other, the heads of them are at least. Now that we've got our 3 brackets in, I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill a couple holes, put some tack nails or screws right in here. So let's go ahead and do that. Other thing you could do is take these straps like I got and put them like this, but I don't really like that. It'll make it not sit level. So we're going to do it the way I always do stuff, like this, and drill a couple holes. So I drilled 5. Get us some little screws. Could not find any screws that were both small enough or long enough, but I forgot I had these. These are panel nails. They have little tiny ridges down the nail that help grip. How much is sticking out is how much it's going to go in, so it should not split the wood at all. But after that glue dries and everything, it'll be plenty to hold this together. I think we're good. Seems pretty sturdy. We can always add these later if we need to. For now, we're not going to add them. Next step, mark and drill this hole so we can mount this guy on here. Like so. Spin this around so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I want to mount it right probably about there. Doesn't have to be too on point, exact. Just make a little pencil mark where we're thinking about. Let's get our cup, make sure it's going to be high enough. I think right there is perfect. Let's go right there. We'll center it after we mark it. So we want to go right under that line. Give or take a little, doesn't really matter. Probably an 1/8 of it. We're pretty dang spot on. I'm gonna go with right about there. See if that fits. Not quite, we just need to ream it out a little bit. So. Boom. See it right there? It's not 100% centered, but it's really close. Like I said, it didn't have to be perfect. So now we're going to drill through here into this guy, and it'll be mounted. Just got to mark. We're going to have to measure from each one of these and mark it so we know exactly where to drill the hole. Okay, so really I could just push hard enough, and I made marks. So since those are raised up, oh, you can see that. I'm trying to get out your light. I made middle of marks, so I'm just going to drill those out with a small drill bit. See how that lines up. Spot on all around. Really, it's gonna go on this side. So we're gonna recess these holes slightly. That way these can go down in there a little bit more and get a little more flush. And then we're gonna recess them on this side a little more. That way the screw can bite a little better. So I need a big drill bit the size of the screw. Well, first I need one the size of these ends. So I'm gonna use a pretty good size here. Yeah, I'm gonna use this guy. We don't want to go down in too far. Just a smidge. So now this can go down in there a little better. This side we're actually not going to recess them, I don't think, because the screw will pull itself in there a little bit. So let's get our first one in. Alright, so got that one started a little bit. Gonna line everything up. We're not going to tighten it down all the way yet. So far, so good. So this is what we've got so far. Not coming off. Now we just got to hacksaw this down to size real quick. Probably, we'll cut it to the end length and then we can trim it. And we'll cut it to right there. Let's mark that. About. It's been hacksawed. It's been filed down so it's not sharp. Let's see how it works. Seems pretty firm in there now. Now, let's plug this guy in. See if it's spinning well. Oh yeah. It's moving very slowly, which is what you want when you're doing crafts that involve putting resin on things. I gotta straighten this out a little bit just because it's at not that great of an angle. Other than that, it seems pretty solid. Alright, we've got this part set up. Don't need that to show you it's spinning anymore. This is why I keep everything. This is from a Halloween prop of some sort. What I'm gonna do is trace this. Then I'm going to cut it out, slide it on here, glue it, and that'll be our piece that we slide over to hold our cup one. Then we're done. Should be pretty easy to do like that. We're gonna just leave it alone. It seems like it fits pretty good already. So So what I'm gonna do instead of doing that is I'm gonna drill it to not ruin the middle of that. I'm gonna trim this down a little bit just because it seems to be, it's just probably too long. But yeah, it's a little too long and I want all the weight closer to here. Let me trim this real quick. There we go. Cut it down a little bit. Trimmed it. I have to trim it a little more. Boom. There's your cup on there. We can trim that stick a little more if we need to. Look at that. And there it is, completed. Only took us a couple hours. You could resin coat this right now if you wanted to. I might shorten this rod up a little bit, but I kind of like where it's at now, so I think I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to glue that foam to it quite yet, but because I can adjust it then. There you have it. Made out of a rotisserie motor. You can use whatever little motor you want. Other than that, how you saw it get made is how I'm leaving it. Now I got to clean up this huge mess I made.